I thank the gentleman. I yield myself such time as I may consume. I want to thank the chairman, Chairman Schuster from Pennsylvania. I want to thank the committee chairman, Mr. Denham, and subcommittee chairman, and Mike Capuano serves as ranking member on our side for a bill that's it's an okay bill. This is in the tradition, the greatest tradition of the Transportation Infrastructure Committee, which is we have differences, as the chairman pointed out, over the future of rail and the funding levels that are needed. But there is consensus that this is important to the country, and we can continue that debate as we continue to improve the operations of Amtrak. An awful lot of the focus is on the Northeast Corridor. That's essentially the cash cow. And in the Northeast Corridor now, in the rail air market, 78% of the Washington, D.C., New York travelers are now using the train. So that's a success story, and there is a lot of focus on that. But Amtrak is bigger than that. We are a large nation. I remember after 9/11, when I had a federal official here from my region, head of the Bonneville Power Administration, and he needed to get back for some important meetings in the West, he took the train. There was no plane option. So, maintaining a national network, I believe, is essential. And we need to keep that perspective in mind as we look at Amtrak as a whole, not just a corridor in one of the most populated parts of the country. In the West, we have two long-distance trains, the Coast Starlight from Seattle through Portland, Eugene, down to Los Angeles, and the Empire Builder, which starts in Seattle and Portland, converges in Spokane, kind of a unique route, and continues on to Chicago. We also have a state-supported route in Oregon, which is an international route. It goes from Eugene, Oregon to Vancouver, British Columbia, and ridership last year was almost up to 1 million on that route as Interstate 5 becomes more and more problematic and congested, particularly over the line in Washington State. So these are essential assets to give people an alternative. And I would also say that, we need to be planning for a better future. And last year, Oregon did get about $20 million grant through the Intercity Passenger Rail Grant Program to finish planning and preliminary engineering work for the possibility of a higher speed route. Not high speed. We're not, unfortunately, that's not in the cards in the near future, but we have a wonderful train set and a Acela train set which can travel a lot faster than it can now because of the current routing and the congestion. And we're planning on doing that, working cooperatively with the freight railroads and also looking at some alternative routes for at least part of that train. I'd also point out that this bill, the railroads themselves, the freight railroads, which the chairman mentioned, are investing a phenomenal amount of money in upgrading their track, their systems, their power. But there are still a lot of projects that are undone and don't have potential revenue sources, and particularly for the short lines. So I'm really pleased that this bill streamlines the Railroad Rehabilitation and Improvement Financing Program, RRIF. Sounds like something my dog would say. In any case, this is sort of a very infinitely bureaucratic and lengthy process. The bill requires that the loans be done within 45 days of getting a complete application. And it also contains strong Buy America provisions. It'll be all American steel, iron, and manufactured goods. So I think that's an improvement on two levels. And that's a needed change. Finally, as the chairman said, there are some of us on this side of the aisle who believe we should be making more investment so Amtrak can have a program to acquire more power, can make improvements on some of very aged and decrepit parts of the neck here and other places where they have critical infrastructure needs around the country. That wasn't to be in this bill. But this bill does leave us that option in the future, And I strongly, and I believe most on this side of the aisle will strongly support this legislation. With that, I would reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman from Oregon reserves the balance of his time. The gentleman from Pennsylvania.
Yield 1 minute to the gentleman from Nevada, Mr. Hardy.
The gentleman from Nevada is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today as a member of the Transportation Infrastructure Committee to support this bill. I believe that it will bring efficiency, savings, and greater transparency to Amtrak. And instead of increasing government interference, this bill will actually create development opportunities